Democratic Congressman Luis Gutierrez is one of the authors of the House's immigration bill, and Republican Congressman Thomas Cole, whose own constituents are, quote, very skeptical and mostly opposed to immigration reform. I want to start first with you, Congressman Cole. You were in this closed-door meeting today. What are the majority of House Republicans saying right now about the Senate immigration bill?
Well, let me make a quick correction. What I said was they're mostly opposed to the Senate bill, not to immigration reform. Actually, I think there's a broad bipartisan sense in the country that the immigration system is broken and needs to be fixed. Now, it's got to be fixed in the right way, and while we think the Senate bill did some things in the right direction, we don't think it's the appropriate vehicle. So in the meeting, we had a good discussion with the Speaker, who made it very apparent that no bill is coming to the floor without a majority of the majority, or out of conference without a majority of the majority. That we wanted to take the time to get it right. We got good reports from Chairman Goodlatte and Chairman McCall about the progress on individual bills. So quite a bit of discussion now into open mic, where individual members are asking questions, asking clarifications, or generating ideas.
Generating ideas. I mean, what are some of the biggest ideas? What are some of your biggest sticking points and your constituents' sticking points with the Senate's bill?
Well, I think the first thing is they simply don't trust the federal government on this issue. We've had this before, where, frankly, we were told we were going to have legalization and then enforcement. I think, since we had legalization but not enforcement, people are skeptical of that formula. Second, this administration, and the Senate bill in particular, has far too much executive latitude. Look, quite honestly, people don't trust the administration. It just suspended parts of its own signature legislation last week in health care. It went to war in Libya without congressional consent. It does a lot of things without coming to Congress. So the idea that you're going to trust them to determine whether or not the border is secure, I think, is a non-starter. And finally, again, people want to make sure that the security components are in place and that we have smart policies that allow immigration. Legal immigration is a wonderful thing for this country. It always has been. But they want to make sure that we have more of an emphasis on people that are bringing skills into the country and coming in and filling positions that we need, frankly, up and down the economic spectrum. So we just want to make sure we get it right. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. We don't want to mess it up.
Representative Gutierrez, we heard earlier from Gene Sperling, who was making the point that he thought everyone could come together on this. We're hearing something different, of course, from Representative Cole. What's your take?
My take is the following. Look, the Republican Party is going to have to make a decision. Is it going to be a party of provinces and states and regions and localities, or is it going to be a national party? The fact is that the demographics indicate that 50,000 Latinos turn 18 every month. That's 600,000 a year. The fact is there was a vote on November 6th. Interestingly enough, George Bush got about 43% of the Latino vote in 2004. That went down to under 20% in the last election.
So in other words, it sounds like they need it. It's a political reality from what you're saying.
I'm going to give you the political reality to their quandary in terms of how they're going to be. Now, I believe that there are Republican men and women who want to settle the immigration debate and want to settle the debate by having good, comprehensive immigration reform policy. And I am one that have been working with Judge Carter and with Congressman Johnson and Diaz-Balart, and I'm going to continue to work with Republicans and extend my hand to the other side of the aisle. But what Chairman Goodlatte has done and the information that he has relayed, unlike McCall, now McCall does have a bipartisan bill in terms of border security, but Chairman Goodlatte has a straight Republican bill. Let me tell you what's wrong with that, because we have to decide if we want to settle the issue or we want to have more a more partisan point of view. We have a partisan point of view. You can't pass comprehensive immigration reform. I want to secure the border. I want an E-Verify program. I want to give the high-tech industry and agricultural industry the workers that they need. We need to do that in a bipartisan way and work across the other side of the aisle.
Okay, so Representative Cole, I mean, how important is immigration reform, in fact, to the party?
Well, I think it's very important. But with all due respect to my friend, look, I worked in a bipartisan fashion on the fiscal cliff, on Sandy relief, and on VAWA. So I don't need a lecture about being bipartisan. And quite frankly, what we've got is an administration that our side doesn't trust, given its willingness to waiver the law. We've had promises made that haven't been kept. Now, I think we can achieve a bipartisan bill, but it's not going to be the Senate bill. It's not going to be jammed, and it's not going to happen overnight simply because some folks in the Senate, a minority of Republicans, did that way. And I applaud
Representative, I can
my
understand
friend for his work.
Sir, I can understand
his work with Judge Carter and Johnson.
I can understand that you're not happy with the White House, but you have a representative here on the other side of the aisle who's put something forth. How does Representative Gutierrez proposal strike you? Can you work with that?
Well, I think I haven't seen it. Unfortunately, so far they haven't released the bill they've talked about. But I have a lot of confidence in the members on both sides of the aisle in that group. I think highly of Luis. I think highly of Zoe Laughlin. I think very highly of my friends Judge Carter and Sam Johnson. I know that Mario Diaz-Balart. Those are really great members of Congress. So I'm very interested in seeing what they're proposing. But so far it hasn't been released. I understand it will be soon, and I'm looking forward for being a positive contribution.
And I want to tell my friend, look, forgive me, I apologize if I came across as lecturing you on bipartisanship. I would be the last one to ever. I mean, I'm a pretty partisan kind of guy, right? So I should be the last one to ever lecture anybody on this issue. No, I mean, I don't have a lot of credibility in the past, but on this issue, I think we have worked in a Look, I worked with John McCain.
Yeah,
I worked with Paul Ryan in 2005. I have worked on a bipartisan approach.
It sounds like everybody wants to be as bipartisan as they can. House Speaker John Boehner.
It's not what's happening in the House of Representatives.
So John Boehner spoke yesterday about immigration. I'd like to get your reaction, Representative Gutierrez. So just listen to this for a moment.
I will.
We all believe that if we're going to go forward on immigration reform, the first big step is you have to have a serious border security. Because without serious border security, what you're going to end up with is the same thing we saw after the 1986 Act.
So in the spirit of all this bipartisanship, would you, Representative Gutierrez, prioritize border security right now as a first step in the immigration bill?
When I introduced the first bill in 2005 with McCain and Kennedy, and we introduced it in the House, Flake and I introduced it in the House, with then Paul Ryan, who wasn't the Budget Committee chairman then, but he was Congressman Paul Ryan. We introduced it together in the House. It was about security, security, security. And if you want that kind of security, you're going to have to get the votes from both sides of the aisle in order to get it done. And so I am for security at the border. As a matter of fact, look what Democrats did in the Senate. They put nearly $40 billion into 20,000 more Border Patrol agents, although we doubled the number of Border Patrol agents in the last 10 years, 700 miles of more fencing. Those are not Democratic values. Those are requests that were made from the other side of the aisle in order to get the deal done. Look, let's sit down, Democrats and Republicans. They did it in the Senate, the Chamber of Commerce, and the AFL-CIO. The farmers and the growers and the union got together. We find the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. Look, evangelicals, Protestants, Catholics, we're all coming together. The fact is that the breadth and the depth of the movement for comprehensive immigration reform is pretty bright and pretty deep.
Representative Cole,
all we need to do is replicate the same thing in the Senate.
Do you think
we can get something done? Absolutely. I think it's possible. It's just got to be done the right way. And remember, look, I would applaud the Gang of Eight and the process in the Senate, because I think the bill, was one of the better products I've seen that was introduced, and it got better over the deliberation. Now, it still did not have anywhere near the majority of the majority. So I think the Senate bill is going to have to change some more. And I think some of these concerns about making sure that border security comes first, which I applaud my friend on. He has done real work and shown real commitment. I actually think that's an American value, neither a Republican or Democrat. We all favor immigration that's legal, and we all want our borders secure. And I've got to believe if people of goodwill, I know my friend is one, sit down and work together, we can get there. I think it's going to take some time, look, let's roll up our sleeves, get to work, see what we can get done.
All right, we're going to leave it there. We wish you luck, gentlemen. Thank you so much.